We are doing a live Write With Me, Write With Us every Monday evening at 6 p.m. Central Time, and just invite you to come and join us as we do a writing session together and have some fun and
write in community.
Write in community. And if you're not able to make it live, then you can watch the recording. And so if you are watching this by recording, then feel free to participate. You can interact with us in the chat. We'll ask questions and talk about stuff. And if you're watching the recording, put your comments in the chat and we will come back and answer those comments and interact through the message system here on YouTube. So glad to have you here. We'll give just a second to get everything kicked off and going.
Yes. And so I don't know about you, but what I'm working on is what the most recent video was about. Do you remember?
Words that I'm not supposed to use.
Forbidden words. Words that we're not supposed to write with in our manuscript, or at least we're supposed to look out for them.
That's right. We're supposed to look out for them. We're supposed to analyze and take them out, which is what I've been doing because I watched the video.
And so sometimes you don't take them out. Sometimes you leave them in there, which is a really important thing to remember when you're looking at because there's lots of words that writers say to get rid of. And but you want to take the word, find it, and then read it in context and make sure that you want to get rid of it, because sometimes you want to keep them.
Sometimes you do.
You do.
So Joshua, I'm excited that you made it tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Joshua.
I know maybe Tuesday was better for you, but we had to do it on Monday evening, but I'm really glad that you're here. So welcome. And you can see I've got my dinosaur mug. Maybe you can't see that really well, but I got my cup of coffee and I'm ready to do some writing. And Angie, you're working on what, editing?
Editing, revising. I'm actually, right now, I'm actually working on finding and locating every time I use the word that.
That.
The pesky word.
It is a pesky word. Well, I am working on adding a little section to my book because I went through and did a bunch of editing, did a bunch of reviewing, just one final time, and I decided it needed something a little more. So I'm adding a little section just to help it make it just a little bit better tonight. So our question is, what are you working on? Are you working on editing? Are you early in the stages of outlining? What part of your writing journey are you in?
Yes, we'd love to hear from you in the comments.
Yeah, put us a comment in there, and we'll interact with those as we go along. So what are we going to do tonight, Angie? We're going to talk for a minute here, and then we're going to do a writing sprint.
We are. We're going to do one 20-minute writing sprint, and then we shall take a 5-minute break, and then we will do another 20-minute writing sprint.
All right. So think about any questions you have, maybe stuff that you're going to ask Angie about these forbidden words that you're not supposed to use. And we'll do some dialogue in the break between the writing sprints.
And if you watched that video, would love to hear from you in the comments. What words are one of your pesky words in your manuscript?
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Isn't that one of the words? Really?
Really. And I'm very excited that you're here. I'm very happy.
Yeah, for sure. And Joshua is still writing. You're still working on your manuscript. I think the last time you were really working on dialogue between your characters and figuring out how to make that different. Are you still working on that? Did you figure out how to make them sound a little bit different? Just let us know in the comments there. And just as a reminder, we do have the Creatives newsletter that we send out, and just updates on various creative things that we're doing. So feel free to check us out over at smuinmedia.com. That's our website, and that's always something fun to participate in. So Let's see. Ange, you got anything else that we need to do before we kick off our first writing sprint? We're about 5 minutes in.
I don't think so. I think we need to get writing.
All right.
We're here to write.
We're here to write.
Let's write.
So let's write together, write in community, because writing really can be lonely. So
it can.
Now we're going to sit here together.
Yeah. Are you guys ready? I'm ready.
All right.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Joshua's just writing. So let's do it. Let's write. Turn us on, Ange. Get the timer going.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. There we go. Okay.
You know, I just have to tell you, I'm working on this new section, and you've made me so conscious about these little words that I'm having a hard time. Looking at what I wrote, looking for that and this and really, and
well, that's the whole point, right?
yeah, I guess so. Halfway through our writing sprint. Well, hello, Iceland. It's good to have you with us. We're in the middle of a writing sprint, so join us and write. We'll be right back with you and answer some questions and have some chatting in just a minute. But I saw you pop up there and wanted to say thanks for joining. All right, we got a 1-minute warning here.
Ooh.
Gonna wrap up your final thoughts for a minute, Ange. All right. Look at that. Our writing sprint is completed, our first writing sprint. So we'll chat for a minute and then we'll kick off another 20-minute writing sprint. How did you guys do? Did you make some good progress on your writing? I made a little bit of progress. What about you, Ange?
Well, I got through 68 VATs. That's pretty good.
Wow. You're editing your manuscript and taking out that or evaluating that.
Yes, I'm evaluating every time I use the word that.
And
Some of the time that I use it, I left it. And basically, if you remove the word that, read the sentence. If it makes sense still, you didn't need it.
you didn't need it in the first place.
If you take it out and the sentence doesn't make sense with the word removed, then you need to leave it.
Hmm.
And a lot of times, dialogue.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to leave it in dialogue, but
Yeah, because that is the way we talk. Dialogue is a little bit different. You can break the
Mhm.
rules there a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With all of the forbidden words, you can break those forbidden word rules if it's dialogue and it fits your character.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So,
So Joshua, you got about 100 words. That's really good.
yeah, good job.
You did better than me. I didn't get quite that many. I'm in this complicated spot where I'm trying to figure out exactly what to add and not mess something up.
Yeah.
And let's see. And you completed your first novel a few weeks ago. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a while to fix all that little language and do the editing part of it. We talked about the different stages of editing in our last live stream sessions, and that it's hard to go through the different stages of editing. It just takes time.
Yeah. And honestly, one of the things that I say in one of the upcoming videos is that when you think you're done, you're probably not, because you got to fix all of the things like what I'm doing, taking words and fixing the words and adjusting little things. And it just takes time. So what language are you writing in?
How do you say that?
As
Asgir?
Asger? I don't know.
Hopefully I didn't say your name wrong. I apologize. Our name is a funny last name and people mess it up all the time. So if I messed up your name, I'm sorry.
Oh, that sounds cool. I like it.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
So
Very cool. And I love your name. It's a cool name.
it is. So I'm glad that you're joining us from Iceland. I've wanted to go there, but I've never made it.
Yeah.
We've done quite a bit of traveling, but maybe someday we'll make
Well, I
it
grew
there.
up in Alaska, which I think Alaska and Iceland are the same latitude, I think, or close.
Close, yeah. So in your last video, Ange, you talked about 10 words that we should take out. Really is one of them. What are some other words that you think we should take out because they're overused?
The word was.
Was. Yeah.
Yeah, the word was is a tricky word because it is a passive sentence structure.
Hmm.
And so sometimes you need to use was, but if you're using the word was, you want to evaluate, can I rework that sentence to get rid of was?
Hmm.
And sometimes you can, and sometimes you can't.
Yeah, I've struggled with the word was like that. Those are both difficult words for me. So
A
now,
sentence with was tends to be telling.
great, great. That's my Achilles heel, telling. I'm just not, I'm not good at this telling stuff. I go back and forth. I understand it. I get confused. I back and forth. How do you guys do on the subject of showing versus telling? Drop us a comment in there and tell us how you're doing about that. Yeah, yeah, the verbs.
Um, yeah.
Hmm.
So, Oscar, what language are you writing in?
She's in English. She's writing in English.
Writing in English.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So your story, what did I read there? You're visiting Russia in 2024. I've been to Russia.
Well, the character's visiting Russia.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been to Russia. It's an interesting place. It's been a long time ago though. I was young.
We've widely traveled.
Yeah. Um yeah, slowly building things up. Yeah, that's a challenge. Hmm.
Yeah, Joshua, sometimes good, sometimes not.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, so are we ready?
Oscar says that some of her Iceland, his or hers, I don't know. You a man or a woman? Because I don't know the language. Um, some Icelandic friends have been to Russia.
Hmm.
Well, cool.
Wow.
Are you ready for
Great.
another writing
Great.
sprint?
Great. Yeah, let's do it.
Well, okay. Thank you for letting me know, because I want to make sure I'm talking the right words here.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, this is great. We love doing the live, but it would be better if you were live with us and we could just
Yeah.
see each other and have kind of a roundtable writing session. That's how I prefer. But
Yeah.
we'll do what we can with the YouTube live stream. So that's good.
Yep. Well, you can't really believe much in the mainstream media about anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure what to believe there, but
I'm a bit of a skeptic with mainstream media on anything.
yeah. All right, we'll get on a soapbox here. We better get to our writing sprint. Let's do one more 20-minute writing sprint and see if we can move our projects forward. I'd like to get just a couple more paragraphs in this section that I'm working on added, and then I'll have to go back and do some, reviews and edits on it. But I need just a little bit more here. So I got to focus for 20 minutes and see if I get it. Joshua, let's see if you can do another 100 words. That'd be great. And we'll see what you got going on, Ange, and we'll just move forward a little bit. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it.
There we go.
I'll have to think about that question. What you look at the question here for a second and see what you think.
I would say that depends on if you want to. I think that's an artistic decision. Personally, that's what I would think. Depends
Okay.
on what you're trying to do, and you know, I think that would be an artistic decision. That would be my
Yeah.
take.
Okay. Probably. So when I get into a situation like that, I tend to write a little bit both ways
Yeah.
and then let it sit and then go back and read it and see how it flows. Does it fit one way better than the other way? Just in my writing style and in the structure of the story and what I'm trying to accomplish. So that's kind of what I would say is write it a little bit both ways, maybe a few paragraphs, and then let it sit and come back and read it and review that.
Now we're 2 minutes into our
Oh.
20 minutes.
Oh, sorry. I'm a talker, so
He talks a lot.
hey, watch it. Don't mean to interrupt your 20-minute writing sprint here, but if you can hear our dog barking in the background, I apologize. That's one of the challenges of live streams. Hmm. 9 minutes. We're halfway.
You're still writing.
I know. Give me just a second.
Save your work. Hit save. I had this one time I was writing this one book, and I had it all done, and it was on the computer. And now, of course, this was a long time ago, 15 years ago maybe. And I had it all done, and it was saved on the computer. And we left and went on vacation. And when we came back a week later, the computer wouldn't turn on, so I lost everything.
Yeah, what you don't know is that Angie is challenged with saving things. So I have autosave set up on all of her stuff, so when she forgets, it'll save it frequently.
But even have a backup copy.
Yeah.
It's just hit save.
It's important. I got to switch glasses so I can see right. Oh,
how did you guys do?
Challenges.
I made it through 119 VATs.
That's a lot of that.
It is. It's a very commonly used word. You don't realize how often you use that word. It's awful.
All right. So 100 words on your story, Leviathan. That takes place in Japan.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
That's interesting. I'd like to read that. So
what genre are you writing in? I would love to know that.
Yeah, we both write in multiple genres, some fiction, some nonfiction.
Yeah.
And right now I'm working on a sci-fi series. And Angie, you're working on what?
I'm working on a dystopian fiction trilogy. It's very cool. It's kind of borderline fantasy, fantasy/dystopian fiction.
So we kind of do a variety of things. We're kind of all over the place with our writing. Probably going to do some nonfiction next, but I got to get through this one because it's been a long time just sitting, and I'm trying to really wrap it up. So
I love to write nonfiction, but after a little while into nonfiction, I'm like, can I write fiction? Can I please go back to a fiction? Because it's so much fun to write fiction. Nonfiction isn't quite as fun.
It's not, but I mean, it definitely has a place. We need nonfiction to share information and things like that. But what's interesting is that the principles of writing fiction versus nonfiction, there's a lot of overlap, because even in nonfiction, you still have to be able to tell a good story to convey the information well and hold the reader's attention. And you have to be able to write without using that, or was, or really, or just, or all these other words you talked about.
Yeah, and a lot of people that write nonfiction, I have heard some people be resistant to learning the principles of fiction. But if you don't know the principles of good writing, then you're going to struggle to write nonfiction as well. The principles of fiction apply to nonfiction as well, because people like stories.
Yep, absolutely. The art of storytelling is alive and well. People love it. That's how we've communicated since the beginning. God designed us to communicate in story format, so that is definitely an important aspect of it. And Joshua, you wrote 200 words.
Nice job.
You doubled the last writing sprint. That is awesome.
Good job.
I didn't quite get my paragraphs done, but I did have a new idea, so I went back and started trying to come up with a flow to fit that in. So I'm in a very tricky little spot. I'm trying to fix and add some stuff. Yeah. So congratulations on that. Joshua, you're moving that book forward. You're going to have it done before you know it.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So, but I think it's really easy to get discouraged in writing because it takes time. But I know that if you keep writing 100 or 200 words every day, you're going to have your story done before you know it.
Yep. And sometimes that's what it takes. You just got to keep moving a little bit every day. And I don't know about you, Joshua. This is true for me. I have to stay in it. So I have to write a little bit or keep my head in it, or else I get lost, and then I have to go and reread and kind of figure out where I was at and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
keep going. That's awesome.
That's why it's beneficial to write every day.
Every day, a little bit every day. So if you have any comments or questions or anything you'd like to add to the live stream, we'll give you just a minute to throw those in the chat. And then we'll probably wrap up here in just a minute for our Monday evening live stream.
Yeah. Joshua says just writing is easier than trying to get it just right. Oh.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and that's my dilemma, is I'm trying to get it just right. So I had these two scenes and I need something between them. So I'm trying to create a new scene that adds value, that keeps the story moving,
Yeah,
and doesn't cause a negative ripple in some other way. And so it's that's where I get stuck. It takes me a little bit of time to kind of think through that in the overall storyline.
I really enjoy the just writing it out, the rough draft stage, and just getting the words on paper and not worrying about what words you're using or how you're writing it, and just creating. I love that part, but it just takes so much time to get it just right.
It does. I haven't written anything that is taking place in Japan.
Oh no.
But that is an interesting dilemma, or maybe a challenge, I would say, not a dilemma, because Japan is very honor-based culture, and the story I'm working on right now, it is an honor-based culture, and so as I'm writing, I keeping that in mind, that this culture is very honor-based and the other culture is not. And so when you're dealing with a different setting like that, keeping that cultural perspective is really critically important, or else it doesn't make sense. It doesn't flow well. But it also gives you a lot of ability for conflict, because people can misunderstand, and then you have a lot of conflict going back and forth.
I think that's where it's important to do your research. I don't know if you've been to Japan, but it's really important to do your research. What's the culture like? What's really happening in that country?
Yeah.
It says it's set in a Japanese mental hospital. Ooh.
Wow, that's challenging. That is challenging. Do you have knowledge of mental hospitals and things like that outside of Japan? Because that would be an important aspect to bring in as well. How do they treat their mentally ill? Do they honor them still, or do they try to push them away and just kind of shove them in the back seat, as some cultures do?
That's fascinating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is an interesting project you've got going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you understand some of the dilemmas with that.
I would imagine that they do treat them very well because it's such an honor-based culture.
Yeah. Oh, they do. They do treat them very well. That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
One of the patients completely takes over the hospital. Oh.
Nice. Nice. That's it.
Oh.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I'd like to see where you're going with that, because that could go lots of different directions.
Yeah.
And never know, the patient might run it well.
Oh, that's
She's
funny.
very bossy. You know, I've met a few people that would fit into that category. I have a background in counseling and ministry, and so I kind of understand that culture a little bit with the
Oh.
mentally ill and developmentally disabled and things like that. So that's an interesting story to me.
Seems to have malignant narcissism and schizophrenia. Oh, fun.
Fun. You're having a good time with
That would
this
be a
character.
fun character.
Yeah. So the challenge then is, how does that narcissistic personality and schizophrenic personality fit into that culture? That's where I would probably do a lot of research in that. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you have, as you're moving that forward. But that sounds like a very interesting story.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing. I'm very interested in that. So you're going to have to keep us informed about how that story is going and when you're going to publish, because maybe we could be a beta reader or something like that.
Are you shooting for a novel, or are you writing a short story?
Interesting.
Trying to publish it. But what length what's your target length? I'm curious to know that.
60,000, 80,000,
100,000.
100,000. Some people like them really long. Don't know yet.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, the publishing is it is within grasp of any writer to publish their work.
Yeah, it really is. And I'm a big proponent of short stories as well. And so there is a lot of short story opportunities, and kind of that section before, it's not really short story, but not really novel. There's a little novella area there that I think is very open to a lot of book marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, that's great.
Sounds like a very interesting story.
It does. It does. All right. Well, we are a little after 7. So we're trying to keep this fairly tight, but we definitely enjoy the conversation. So if you're watching by recorded video, be sure to make some comments. We'll come back, check the comments, interact with those, and just appreciate you guys joining us and being with us tonight.
He says he wrote a novella about 89 pages set in Wonderland. Ooh, nice. That sounds interesting.
Nice. That sounds pretty cool. Is it published? If so, let us know the title. Maybe we'll look it up.
Yeah. I love to read. I'm an avid reader. I devour books.
Yes, she does. And then we have warehouses full of books. Well, you could always self-publish. Self-publishing now is a pretty popular thing. We've self-published quite a bit. And what do we got now?
8
books, 9 books that's self-published.
No, we got 4 more that are like getting close.
We're trying to get those last 4 going. Yeah.
I love it. They wouldn't want to read a story about Alice in Wonderland interacting with a dragonfish. Oh no, that sounds cool.
That sounds funny.
That sounds like a great story.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
All right, we better wrap up. Thanks for joining us.
Join us next Monday, same time.
Same time. We'll be back working on a project. Bring your projects. We'll share a little bit again, encourage each other to keep moving those balls forward so that we can get these things published. All right. See you guys next week.
Bye, everyone.